Hi, writers! Today I want to teach you about concrete poetry, also known as shape poems. So, first question you might have is, what is a concrete poem? We're not talking about concrete as in the stuff that sidewalks are made out of. Concrete means something that is like tangible, touchable, seeable, feelable. So, concrete poetry is poetry that takes a symbolic shape which contributes to the meaning of the poem. Here is an example of a concrete poem. It's about a tornado. Tornado spins round and round, powerful and scary if they touch the ground. Dark skies in the afternoon make me want to hide in my room. Covers over my head as I hide in fear and dread. You'll notice that not only is it a poem about tornadoes, but it is in the shape of a tornado. That's what makes it a concrete poem. This was written by an elementary schooler, and I'm guessing that many of you have probably done this type of poetry before. Am I right? But you know me, writers, always leveling it up. We are going to take this to the next level with our concrete poetry today, and we're really going to focus on it being a symbolic shape rather than a more literal shape like this one is. So I want to first show you a few examples of the forms that concrete poetry can take. For example, this type uses a shape that is then filled in with the words of the poem. This one is about a raindrop, and the shape of the raindrop is filled with words. You don't see any outline at all. You just see the words. This one does have an outline. You can see the umbrella, and then the poet wrote their words inside of the umbrella, and they added different colors and sizes of handwriting in order to make it really interesting to look at. The second type of concrete poem you can write, instead of filling the shape with words, the author traces the outline of the shape that they want to use. So this one is a fox shape, and they wrote all around that outline. This one is in the shape of a leaf, and you can see that they use the veins of the leaf. This one also used color in order to add additional meaning to their poem based on the shape and what that leaf meant in the poem. The final type of concrete poem, that I want to show you is this slightly more abstract type, okay? For these ones, you don't see a super clear shape right away. Maybe this one you kind of see stairs, but this is what I'm talking about when I say we're sort of leveling things up. So this one is about a girl diving. Now, they could have just done it in the shape of a diver, maybe jumping off of a diving board, but they chose to go a little deeper and to show this cascading shape instead. Let's read it together. The dive. As the girl dove under the face of the sleeping lake, first her long torso peacefully, then her legs slipped down into the reach of the gilded water world. I feel like the cascading shape of this poem makes me think of someone's body just slipping into a lake, like the smoothest dive ever. This is a sort of higher level concrete poem. Here's another one that has the shape of stairs. You can see it's really short. Concrete poems don't tend to be very long poems because you've got to fit it into that shape. So I want to show you some steps on how to write a concrete poem. So you're going to need a notebook and a pen or pencil to write this. So your first step is to actually write the poem. I want you to think about something that matters to you. You might write about someone in your life who's really important. You might write about an issue that matters to you. We've been talking a lot lately about what's been going on in the news. We've been talking about police violence. We've been talking about protests. We've been talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. These are all wonderful subjects for concrete poems. My next tip is to keep it pretty short. If you write a really long poem that goes on for 3 pages, it's going to be really hard to fit it into a shape. Finally, as you're writing the poem, don't even worry about the shape. I want you to focus on writing the best possible poem, and then you'll get to the shape. If you worry about the shape from the very beginning, that's going to constrict what you end up writing, and it's probably not going to be the best type of poem. If you want to do this shape now, or this step now, you can go ahead and just pause this video and get started on writing your poem and then restart it. Step 2. I want you now to decide on your shape. Once you have your poem, I want you to brainstorm a few possible shapes that your poem could be in. Now, here's the tip. I don't want you to pick just the first shape that comes to mind. It might not necessarily be the best one. I want you to ask yourself, what is this poem that I just wrote about really about? What is it truly trying to say? Let me give you an example. If I decide to write a poem about my dog and how awesome my dog is, the first shape that comes to mind is, are you thinking the same as me? Like a dog shape, right? I could find a picture on the internet of a dog and sort of trace the shape and fill it in with a dog. Okay, I could do that. However, we're trying to take this to the next level, a more symbolic level. So I might keep brainstorming. Well, what is this poem really about? If it's a poem about how much I love my dog, how my dog is always there for me as my best friend, I might think, what about like a heart shape to show that I love my dog? So yeah, it's a poem about my dog, but it's really a poem about love. And the heart shape is going to add that meaning, that extra layer of meaning to the poem. Or maybe it's a poem about my former dog who's no longer with me. And it's a sad poem about how much I miss my dog who passed away. In that case, I might make it in the shape of a teardrop because that's going to add an extra layer of meaning and emotion to my poem. So do you see how I brainstormed and didn't just pick the first one that came to mind? I gave myself many options of different symbols that could work for this poem. Step number 3 is going to be to sketch the shape out and actually write the poem. So this one is a pretty cool cat shape, as you can see. I recommend that you use pencil and sketch out that shape. You can even trace it from your computer screen if you want to. It might take a few tries to get all the words fit in there. It's not easy to do this on a computer, so I highly recommend doing it by hand. Okay. Finally, that's supposed to say step 4. Share it with your teacher on Schoology. You can take a photo and upload it to Schoology, send it as a private message to your teacher. And we absolutely cannot wait to see your poems. Please send a message to your teacher if you have any questions. Good luck.